Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to the Pipeline Podcast, episode 101 today. I'm your host, Darren McClymans, and joining me for today's very special episode, it's me. It's it's this beautiful, beautiful face. Not beautiful at all, actually, but we are here for a very special episode. I am very excited for today's episode because we are back with ranking every show I've ever seen, part 2. For those of you who don't know, for the 50th episode of the show, we were like, hey, let's just do a giant tier list of all the shows I've ever seen. For the most part, I missed some, but let's do it. And then for the 100th, obviously that was last week, we had a lot of fun guests on, we were doing some fun things. I was like, all right, it's 101. Let's just do an updated list, because my kind of goal is once a year, update the giant list from things I watched from the past, from things I forgot I watched, and then go kind of through and update the giant list itself. And like, I was looking at this list from last year. We have it pulled up here that we'll talk about later on in the episode. But I was looking at it, I was like, I disagree with some of my placements already. But yeah, man, how are we doing? I don't know why I have a vibe. Not that many people are going to stop in today. I don't know why. It's just a feeling I have. Although the first one we did of this, part 1, is our highest viewed. It's not saying much because it's only like 200 views, but it's our highest viewed episode of the Pipeline. So that'd be cool if we can kind of reach for the stars and reach for that goal again this year. But no, I am very excited for today's episode. I'm excited to get this thing going. And no, I mean, you know, I also kind of thought it would be nice to kind of have the following to the 100th episode be a solo outing, because I thought, you know what, we had a lot of fun last week. We, had some fun guests on. A lot of thank yous went around, and I also just think, like, there's been a lot of thinking over the last week. I'm like, all right, you've done 100 episodes. That's very cool. What's next for the show? Where are we going forward? There's a lot of ideas that I have, and honestly, I'm very excited to kind of see where the show kind of goes forward from here. Where are we taking off from? I want to get a lot more creative. I want to do some very interesting episodes, right? We do a lot with Marvel and DC and Disney and Ben 10, a lot of the things you expect from me. But I want to hop into some more IPs. I want to hop into some more concepts and ideas and movies and TV shows, maybe watching them for the first time and then doing a special episode on them. I think that would be kind of cool. That's kind of I think that's going to be the overall goal. But yeah, I think we're gonna get this thing on a roll. I think we're gonna get this thing moving. Again, it's just me, so if you are kind of coming in later on within the stream, send in questions, send in comments. Tell me where you would rank these things on your personal list. And yeah, without further ado, we're going to be jumping into today's episode with some news stories. First up on the docket today, I'd say it's one of the bigger news stories of the week. I'd say it's one of the big things. The Acolytes will not return for a second season at Disney Plus. Now, this was a huge news of the week. Biggest polarizing news that this old boat kind of had in store. Obviously, The Acolyte aired a couple weeks ago, or I guess wrapped up a couple weeks ago. The internet's been aflamed. Like, I feel like this is one of the biggest shows of it feels like each year there's one show that everyone's like, yeah, fuck that show. And in the sense that there's like one polarizing show that's like defining it, right? Like, I feel like a couple years ago it was She-Hulk. Actually, yeah, probably it was She-Hulk probably in 2022. In 2023 was probably Secret Invasion, and then this year is probably The Acolyte. And I'm someone who didn't hate The Acolyte. I thought The Acolyte was it was okay. I thought, there are these two very polarizing groups at the moment. One that thinks it's the worst thing to ever be created and it destroyed everything Star Wars stood for, and then the other half that thinks it's God's grace. And not to sit here and say anything wrong with either one of those opinions. I really want you to have your, whatever your opinion is, as long as you're not being toxic about it, have that opinion. That's totally valid. I was somewhere in the middle with it, though. I was someone who thought, this is okay. Like, it kind of felt to me on par with what a lot of the Disney Plus stuff was putting out, what a lot of the Marvel stuff was that had come before, a lot of what the Star Wars stuff had come before. Some really good stuff in there, some really not great stuff. Like, it was, I don't know. I personally did not get the hate for it, but I'm also the most casual Star Wars fan on earth. Like, I simply just did not get it's breaking the lore, it's breaking the canon, it's destroying this legacy that so many fans were holding on to. With that being said, this is a tough one in terms of, is the cancellation valid? And like, if what they have said is true, that The Acolyte was the lowest viewed finale in Disney Plus history, if that was true, which I'm not sure if it is, because I know there's some at least within the Star Wars world or whatever, right? And they really didn't feel like there's a profit moving forward. Fair enough. I can be like, you know what? From a business standpoint, I can understand it. I can get it. But I feel like this is kind of the first of its kind, because I think this is the first time that a Marvel or Star Wars show that was supposed to get more seasons didn't get more seasons, right? Like, we're looking at, like, there is a campaign for a lot of those Marvel shows to get new seasons. She-Hulk, Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, stuff like that. And, they haven't been, and it's interesting because they make them like movies. Like, we've talked about that a lot. They make them like movies, and I think that their renewal process is like a movie, where it's like, well, it's not that we didn't give you a second season, it's just that we didn't get you a second movie. Like this was your one movie, we just didn't greenlight another. And I feel like a lot of them, there's a reason a lot of them has been labeled like limited series, because they were only at that point in time meant for that one season plan, and then of course later on you could do whatever you want. Where this is the first time where it's like, oh yeah, they're calling it a cancellation, they're calling it's done. And yeah, I think my biggest issue with this whole thing, like, again, it's sad. I feel bad for the fans of the show. I had many friends. We reviewed every episode of the show, or like almost every episode of the show, on Darren After the Credits. My friend Darth Bunyan loved the show. I was kind of, again, very mixed on it. I thought it was whatever. But I've just hated the atmosphere around so many Star Wars fans. Shocker, it's Star Wars fans. But I felt like it's always been my take. It has always been my take that there is no benefit to us, the consumer, for a show getting canceled. This has been my take from day one. I have always said, for one, people lose their jobs. People, who had a job now no longer have a job. Two, for the fans who liked the show, who enjoyed the show, no longer have that show in their life. And for the fans who didn't like the show, and who didn't even watch the show, that are like, yes, it's canceled, yay, it's canceled. Those fans have the option to not watch that show. If you're sitting here being like, yes, I'm so happy it was canceled, why? Why are you happy? You have the choice not to watch it. But canceling it takes that away from the people who do want the show. And I think that's a really shitty thing to do. I don't personally like that mentality. Even if it's a show you don't like, you don't enjoy, let other people have that enjoyment. I think it's always a sad thing regardless, unless it's like a problematic show or movie or whatever. Just to treat it as like a grieving process, if you will. I'm very curious if, like, again, I'm not deep into the Star Wars world. This is something I'm going to have to talk to, like, Taz or Darth about, where it's like, where do you think Acolyte was a big part of their main kind of thing going forward? They definitely set some things up at the end there. Do we think those things could go elsewhere or be somewhere else altogether? That'd be something I'd be very, like, I know they said the stuff like Yoda and stuff like that. And also that's another thing, like, very mixed on the show itself, but also, like, they were setting up some cool things, and it's a show that I think only could have got better with time and more freedom and more, I don't know, just room to grow. That is one of my biggest issues with the current slate or state of, I guess, the old realm of these TV shows was there was no, they weren't operating like you normally would for a TV show, right? I feel like you don't have the room to improve. You don't have the room to get better. You don't have the opportunity to grow as a regular network TV would. And hopefully with this new regime over at Disney, right, we got show Bibles now, we got showrunners, we got actual multiple season narratives being born that I'm very excited for, starting with, I think, Daredevil Born Again, which we might actually talk about in a little bit here. But I won't talk about this too much. I'm not the biggest Star Wars guy, but I feel like this had to be touched upon. We had to mention this. It's a kind of a huge thing. And I mean, again, my condolences to the fans of the show and the ones who wanted to see more out of all of this. Yeah, this is a big one. This is also a big one. Brad Windenberg thinks Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fits into the multiverse saga. This came out a couple weeks ago. I thought about throwing it into the 100th episode, but at that time there would have only been one other person in the chat at the time that would have known Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I didn't want the other three to just be like, well, let's sit this one out. Obviously, anybody who knows me knows I'm a huge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. guy. One of my all-time favorite shows. I think it's easily one of the best things Marvel has ever put out. I think it's phenomenal. It could fit into the multiverse saga. I don't know. We've fallen for this kind of bait in the past, right? We've fallen for this sort of victim before. And I'm at a point where I have kind of lost a lot of my hope that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will somehow fit into the larger scope of the MCU. I've kind of lost a lot of my hope that that's a direction that we can go. I feel like if you were going to do it, it would have been right after Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 7. I think they set themselves perfectly up to sink into the way they come back through the quantum realm. It's my headcanon that they do return to their 616 main, secret timeline, if you will. But the way he said the multiverse saga, right? He didn't say, like, it's weird because the multiverse saga is the entire thing, right? Like, this doesn't necessarily mean it's through the multiverse, but the phase 4, 5, and 6 is classified as the multiverse saga. So this could mean they are canon and they appear in, random project, just to throw it out there, Captain America 4. They're like, well, Phil Coulson shows up in Captain America 4, and that's how they fit into the multiverse saga. This could also mean they show up via the multiverse. That they go the theory that either the show always took place on another universe, or they slipped into another timeline or multiverse after the snap. There's a lot of those theories. Those go around. Listen, I'm at a point where I just want them to be acknowledged at this point. Like, we've brought it up in quite a bit now, where it's like, it's so far gone. I would just like them to acknowledge that they exist. You had that clip from Ryan Reynolds recently that's like, oh yeah, so what happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season 2 episode 5? Like that was the biggest piece of acknowledgement we've had in many, many moons. Like that was amazing. I absolutely adored that. I thought that was really, really cool. But yeah, we'll wait and see. I don't want to get my hopes up for this. I just we'll have to see kind of where it all leads and where we're going to be taking these characters. And I honestly think, I unfortunately think the most we're getting from S.H.I.E.L.D. is a cameo in Secret Wars. I think we're going to be flashing through Earths. I think we're doing the whole Crisis thing or Flash thing, where we're going to zoom through many multiverses and different Earths, and we're going to see all these different destinations, and they'll show us the Fox universe and the Fantastic Four universe and the whatever. I think they're going to do all that, and there'll be like a 2-second clip of like Daisy Johnson or something. And then of course, if you wanted, you could bring them back in post Secret Wars if you want, right? You could bring in Daisy Johnson. I'm sorry, you could bring in Chloe Bennett as a new version of Quake, or Daisy, if you will. Yeah. It's going to be interesting. I hope this leads to something, but I'm not holding my breath either. Todd Phillips continues to express how different his version of Harley Quinn will be in his upcoming Joker 2. So he keeps bringing this up. I feel like every couple months, he's like, hey guys, my version of these characters are so much different than the other versions. We're completely doing our own thing. We're doing our own separate thing over here. Don't worry about us. We're just having fun. We're having a jolly good time. Which is fine. It's definitely led to a lot of controversies. I think inherently on surface value, this is what I want. This excites me. I like under the DC Elseworld label, you can do this, right? That's the point of Elseworlds, is you introduce, you like, obviously you have your streamline, but like DCU will be the streamline, like, hey, this is the current main universe DC, and then we can have, the Batman, we can have the Joker, we can have, Val Zod, we can have, Harley Quinn, you can have Teen Titans Go, or My Adventures with Superman, or Constantine 2. Like, that's why you do this. And I want those adaptations to feel unique, to feel different, to feel their own. Not necessarily change it for the sake of trying to be different, but changing it to fit your own narrative. So obviously I love that. The one thing I will say about this one, though, is I don't like the way he words it every single time he has something to say about it. Because it's like, we're not touching the comics. This isn't anything like the comics. Like, this thing, and this thing, and this thing, they're all gone, right? Nothing like that. And I was like, okay, changing it, that's fine. But why are you so adverse to the source material? Why does it feel like it disgusts you, kind of? Like, I don't know. I feel like, you, again, be different, that's fine. But don't be allergic to the source material either. Like, don't use it as your strength, not, like, use it as your friend, not your enemy. Lean on it a little bit, take some of what works, and then maybe take some of it apart, and maybe you want to change and do different. I don't know, just every time he mentions it, it's like, it's nothing like those comic things. We're nothing like those guys. We're our own thing. We're doing our own thing. This is what we're doing. So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see kind of how it all goes out. I'm personally very excited for Joker 2, though. Like, I loved that first movie. Well, love is a... I liked it. I thought it was a very good movie. I thought Joker was a very good movie. It's hard to watch, and I assume this next one will be too, but I'm excited to see what they do with the story and how we progress this little world that we've created over in the Joker verse, if you will. But and I think Harley's one of the biggest is one of my biggest pluses. Like, that's the thing I'm excited to see. Obviously, their version of Arthur Fleck's Joker was such a different and unique take on the character. Again, I think Lady Gaga is gonna be great. I'm so excited for the musical elements. Also, that's the thing. He's like, guys, it's not a musical. Guys, not a musical. And the way he describes it, and it's like, sorry, buddy, that's a musical. What you described just now is a musical. Sorry to say, but no, it's exciting. I'm excited to see what they do with it. Couple months away. What, we're like a month and a half away? Like, summer's gone, guys. I like, this has really snuck up on me. Summer is gone. It's the end of August already. We're heading into the fall blockbuster era. So we're heading into Joker 2, Venom 2, The Penguin, Agatha, Superman and Lois, Kraven the Hunter. We got a lot of big titles coming your way. May they be good, may they be bad. They are big titles, and we're going to be talking about them on here. And I'm excited for this next wind, because outside of, like, honestly, it's been a slow year for comic book movies. Let's be honest. Let's be open. Let's be free. There's been Madam Web, and there's been Deadpool and Wolverine. Those have been the two main ones. So I'm excited to get Joker and Venom and Kraven out here, just to have some fun movies to talk about. Not to mention Beetlejuice is coming up, Moana, and Mufasa, and Sonic 3, and they just dropped the trailer for Lord of the Rings, which I have not seen, by the way. I have not seen Lord of the Rings. So that's going to happen soon for me, I think. And to wrap up our news segments for today's episode, we're in 30s, but that's what happens when it's just me to talk about these things. Not the Acolyte. We already talked about the Acolyte. What if Shang-Chi was one of the leads of Avengers Kang Dynasty? Now, I say what if, not because we're talking about What If Season 3, but a thing came out the other day, and I'll be honest, I didn't look at the article itself. It's one of those pages, I didn't even really look at the source, but this was one of those were one of those things where I wasn't, it's tough, because Kang Dynasty, I don't know if we're ever fully going to get a grasp on what that movie was going to be. But some things went around saying that Shang-Chi was going to be one of the leads of Avengers Kang Dynasty. That was the article that came out. I thought that sounded very exciting. And I wanted to bring up the prospect because it's brought up a big part of conversation, and I think could bring up a very fun just talking point for this episode. I loved that first Shang-Chi movie, man. I loved it a lot. I thought it was the exact thing. I think it's exactly what people wanted from Phase 4 and Phase 5 and just the future of Marvel, right? It's introducing new characters. It's doing things differently. It's giving us new dynamics. It's, really having fun with the fighting style. But also, technically, it kind of keeps the formula that everyone loves from Marvel and the MCU. And I feel like it found that balance of pleasing both fans very well. And obviously I wouldn't want that for every MCU project, but I think it really worked. And I feel like that movie came out in 2021. It's now 2024, and there's been no developments for Shang-Chi 2. There's been no announcement. There's been nothing for that. He keeps saying that it's coming. He keeps saying they're working on it, that they're putting it forward. But I do think, and the rumor was all the way back when they announced Avengers Secret Wars and Avengers Kang Dynasty, is that Shang-Chi took place after Secret Wars. And if that was the case, it makes sense why there was no development on Shang-Chi 2, because they needed Kang Dynasty to come out first. It felt like, those two movies were going to be almost a sequel for him, in the same way that, like, Civil War is that Iron Man movie, right? Like, in that very same vein. I absolutely believe that Shang-Chi would have been a big element of that film. With that being said, I don't necessarily think that means he's not a lead in Doomsday. It's tough. It's tough because there are a lot of characters. There are a lot of characters going into Doomsday. A lot we're going to be wanting to see. A lot we're not going to be able to get the screen time that they deserve. I really wish we could have got a Avengers movie in either Phase 4 or 5 prior to Doomsday. I think that would have worked a lot better, just having already established our team and our dynamics and our crew. And I think having a movie aside from Iron Man or, Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans and all those peeps, in my opinion, would have been the ideal. I think that would have been what I would have liked. But no, because I'm curious, because I do think, just from vibes, I do think the role Shang-Chi probably would have had in this movie has probably now gone to Reed Richards. And I think, and probably Sue Storm as well. I think Reed Richards, Sue Storm are probably going to be two of the leads of Avengers Kang Dynasty. I know you're like, but those aren't Avengers, they're Fantastic Four. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I think it's going to be Sam Wilson. Really, I think Sam Wilson, Peter Parker, Reed Richards, Sue Storm, and Doctor Strange. I think those are the main five we're really going to be focusing on in that movie. And obviously, there's going to be so many. Captain Marvel is going to be one of the big ones too, I think. Shang-Chi, I think, is going to be right there with Captain Marvel. You're going to have, I think Yelena and Bucky, I think, are going to have a very strong role. They said that the Thunderbolts will be there. They're kind of the two leads of that franchise. And I think those are kind of going to be the main. And obviously, there's so many characters around that we've introduced. We have She-Hulk, we have Miss Marvel, we have Kate Bishop, we have Clint, we have Hulk, we got Thor. There are so many characters that need fleshed out, that need introduced. We were kind of laughing at we're going to have 70 to 80 characters in this movie. But also, if you count up all the characters within, phase, all the characters introduced through Phase 4, through Phase 5, that's a lot of characters. You have all the Internals, and you have Guardian, and, again, not to mention all the characters that are still around from the pre-Endgame era. All the, Clint and Hulk and Thor and, Rhodey and, Ant-Man and all those guys still. Guardians are around. Who do you bring in from the Guardians cast? It's a lot. It's a lot. So it's an exciting time for me in terms of we're finally working on an Avengers movie. I think the bit of separation from the announcement has passed a little bit. I have my grievances with why I don't necessarily love it, why I think they could have done this better. But I'm excited we're getting Avengers 5. I'm excited we're working towards it. Kang Dynasty, RIP. What would you have been? Would have been very fun to see. But we're moving on to Doomsday, and that's all we can really do at this point, I feel like. That's all we can really do. Oh, alrighty. Ready. That's all the news stories we have. We got through that in 30 minutes. Honestly, that's kind of the ideal. That's kind of what I aim for these episodes. The goal is to spend one episode, or about 10 minutes, talking, introducing the show, asking people what they watched during the week, about 25-30 minutes of news stories, and then the rest, I like to spend on the main topic or the ranking that we're going to be focusing on within the episode. Okay, we're going to be moving over. We're going to be moving over to the tier list. Now, there's still nobody watching the stream at the moment, but if anybody does kind of come in, I do want to hear everybody's thoughts on my ranking today, where people would put each thing. Don't worry, we're going to be zooming this in. We're going to be zooming this up. I'm going to be moving over to the screen here in a second. Look at me, I'm so small. Hello. I'm excited for this. I'm really excited. I had so much fun last time. Last stream was so long. We had so many shows to get through. And obviously, every episode going forward will not be the length of this one. I think there's some shows down here that I'm not going to be adding because they're just repeat stuff. Or I added, if anybody going to ask, I did add Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I thought I would have finished it by now, but I did not. So we're going to leave that for next time. But let's go. I don't know even where to start with this. So I think how we're going to do it is I'm going to go through the ranking. We're going to do it like normal. And then we're going to go through and update anything that had new seasons there at the end. And that honestly is going to take a while. And then just move anything around that I think needs moved, that needs changed, that needs, fixed. But screw it. Let's get this party started. Let me close some of these tabs really quickly. And if anyone's in the chat watching, they need it to be closer, let me know. Can I actually zoom out? I know we normally zoom in, but is it possible to see the whole board a little bit better? How does that look for you guys? I think that's what we're going to do. I think that's the view we're going for. I do think. All right, starting out. I'm going to move this guy. Move this guy down a little bit, I think. Move some things around a little bit. Okay, that looks good. All right, sorry, I'm stalling. I don't know why. First up here, we have Superman and Lois. Now, there has been no new season of Superman and Lois since the last time we did one of these streams. But it's one of the tragedies of last time, of the photo not making it into the file. And me forgetting it last time. I remember me being very sad at the end of my stream last year. And being like, no, I forgot Superman and Lois. No. Superman and Lois. I mean, I think season 1's perfect. I think season 2 is a little bit of a dip. But I think season 3 is genuinely an amazing season of television. It's not perfect. It's not the greatest piece of cinema that I've ever seen in my life, right? It has its faults. It has, there's some, every once in a while, it will have a piece of writing where I'm like, I don't know, there'll be a thing where I'm like, that character, I don't think should have done that in this situation. But in general, it's honestly one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Chatterbox in the house. Hey, Darren, looks like you have a work cut out for you here. That's a lot of shows. It is a lot of shows. Most we ranked last time, but we're updating it this time. And I'll say, man, I would hate to see your list, because I bet your list is like 10 miles long. I bet it's absolutely massive. You watch so much more TV than I do. But yeah, Superman and Lois, it's tough. It's I feel like the CW shows kind of fall into that category though. And I do think it's one of the better of the CW shows, but it falls into that grave point where it's like it has these unbelievable highs, but then it also has lows. But I'll say I think it has some of the highest highs of any of the CW shows, and I don't think it nearly has any of the lower lows that Flash and Arrow and Supergirl have. So where are we thinking with this one? I'm thinking divine, and I guess we didn't even go over the categories from last time. We have perfect, divine, great, good, and bad. And again, already at the bottom here. Like, I'm looking at a lot of these I'm looking at some of these good. Things are getting moving. But I think divine is kind of where I'm leaning for Superman and Lois. I think that is kind of my near perfect television. My near perfect TV shows that are not quite to the level of perfect, but are really close for me. And I think that's where's Superman and Lois go? It's not in bad. I accidentally put it in bad. It's absolutely not in bad. I do think it's going in divine though. I think that I think that's a very good spot for it. I'll maybe even move him up through Divine as we kind of sort through some of these guys. And there's something here I might move up or I might move down. We'll see. When was the last time you did these shows? Yeah, it was last August was the last time I did this. That was the last time I ranked them. So there's a year where I'm watching stuff. Didn't watch as much stuff this year as I wanted to. I slacked in the TV department. But honestly, though, I think that's mainly because this year I spent most of this year just watching The Walking Dead. I think that's just why it took me so long or why I don't have as many shows here as I kind of wish I would. All right, first up is The Bear. And Chatterbox, I did watch The Bear since the last time I had you on the show, which we talked about last time you were on. I was like, I need to watch The Bear. I did watch The Bear. The Bear, I would say, continuously I hear is like, oh, this is one of the best seasons of TV, right? Like, this is one of the best TV shows on right now. You know, everyone loves The Bear. Everyone thinks it's amazing. I do love The Bear. I have found myself in recent weeks since finishing The Bear being very sad I don't have more Bear to watch. Kind of binged through over a couple weeks, binged through it. It's a very stressful show. I talked about this in my review of it. I was like, it's a show I can't watch after work because it feels like I'm doing more work. Like it's work that's very entertaining to watch. But that pressure and that stress it's tough. Man, genuinely some of my favorite episodes of TV. Some of the best TV I think I've ever seen. I mean that. I think obviously people throw out Forks. Forks is great. The family dinner episode with just Jamie Lee Curtis and Bob Odenkirk and all these big actors. Genuinely some of the most stressed I've ever been while watching a TV show. Genuinely. Oh, nice. I still need to finish season 3. Gotta get to that. There's some good stuff in season 3. And I do think, I think if we're talking about those first 2 seasons, I could find myself being able to put it in that perfect category. I could see myself doing that, especially season 2. I say season 2 as a season is one of the best seasons of TV, I think. It's really, really good. I will say, and again, slight spoilers, not spoilers, but just kind of my opinion on season 3. I did think season 3 was the weakest. I did think it slightly lacked a narrative. And it was very frustrating, I think, to the fact, because, what they were showing us was really good. They were having really fun with these very artsy, these very fun, these individually great episodes, but I feel like it failed to, connect to a larger narrative that I wanted to. And I feel like it didn't feel like the season ended. It kind of just felt like it paused and was like, all right, we'll be back in 2 years or whatever. So forgive me. Where do you put it though? Where do I put it? I think it's another Divine for me. I do think it's another Divine because it's really close. It's really close to being in that perfect category. But I don't think it quite makes the mark for me up at this point. And I guess, that's the thing. I think, once you kind of fall short of the perfect, it's hard to get back up there. I don't know how you redeem yourself after having, again, it's nothing bad. Season 3, I think it's still better than 90% of the TV I've seen in my life. It's still really good. But Divine, probably top of Divine, once we kind of move things around here. Ultimately where I would go. I'm going to move some of these around because I don't want all the good stuff to be at the very front. I feel like should we do that? Yeah, that works. All right, up next we have X-Men the Animated Series, which I did watch for the first time this year. Not really. I watched it. I talked about this a lot. It was my first introduction to any superhero thing ever. It was the first, I remember the first superhero show I ever watched, first introduction to Marvel, and just, I had Spider-Man action figures, I had Batman action figures as a kid, but I never watched any of it, and this was my first thing I watched. And obviously with X-Men 97 coming out this year, I was like, all right, we're probably going to watch it for the first time, and it's a blast. I had a really good time, watching it 2 episodes a week, every week for about a year until X-Men 97. It lined up perfectly. Like, we finished X-Men animated series, and then like 2 weeks later, 97 started. And, it was a great journey. It's a 90s show. It's a 90s animated show. Did it all age well? No. Was it the greatest show that's ever been made? Absolutely not. It has some flaws, especially in terms of the animation and stuff like that. But I think the stories that they were able to tell in this final season, in this show, I love animated kid shows that aren't afraid to teach a kids good lessons, that aren't afraid to like be adult. It's a show while I'm watching it, while I watched it over the years, I never felt, hey, this is a kid show. It felt like it was just a TV show. I've talked about it forever. That I think that episode with Beast is one of my favorite episodes of like a animated superhero shows. Just the dealing with the racism and the discrimination that comes with being a mutant, and just heavy-handedly dealing with it, being like, hey kids, this is real stuff you have to deal with. And that's why all the criticisms that's like X-Men aren't woke, and it's just like, that's literally their entire thing. Like, go watch any given episode of the original show. It's 100% woke. That's their entire narrative. That's exactly what they are. That's what they're supposed to be. Where do we want to put it? Where do we put X-Men the Animated Series? I think they have to go in great for me. I think it's going in great. And maybe, again, I already know I want to move some things around here. I feel like I might get a little hate for that. But, look at what's in great at the moment for me. These are phenomenal TV shows that have some flaws mixed in. Like that's what this is. Has a couple flaws here and there, but otherwise a great show. You're in there with my Ben 10s and the Young Justice and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and among some of my favorite TV shows. So, I think that's a pretty good spot for it. Taking those drink breaks, because I think we got a longer one ahead today, guys. Oh boy. All right. Next up, we have the new Doctor Who show. Now, I'm currently going through and watching the 2005 run at the moment. Hopefully, honestly, by this time next year, I will either be, because I'm doing 2 a week, that's my plan. I may not be done, but I will be a lot more of a way through Doctor Who than I am currently. But we decided to throw on the new series because Disney Plus and everyone themselves are counting this as a new show. So we are counting this as the new first season. The new season 1 is what we're counting. And then again, in a year or maybe 2 years from now, once we're done, I will add the 2005 run of Doctor Who. I really liked this run. I really liked this season a lot. Obviously, I had some experience with Doctor Who up until that point. I saw 3 seasons of the 2005 run. I'm on season 4 right now. I know it's taking me forever, guys. I'm so sorry. But I think Shike Gachua, I think is how you pronounce his name. Hopefully I didn't butcher it completely. I think he's slowly, and again, David Tennant's going to be hard to beat. I hear Matt Smith is really good, but I love him as the Doctor. His energy, I loved him on Sex Ed. I thought he was great there. But his energy is perfect for the Doctor. There are some weird episodes mixed in here, but there are some absolute banger episodes in here. I love Boom. I thought was an amazing episode. I loved, and let's use love with air quotes, the Slugworm episode, and that revelation at the end of being like, oh, these guys are terrible people, and this revelation of oh, the bad guys are kind of the good guys in a weird way. And that episode I could not get out of my head. I loved the Bridgerton episode, and I loved, oh my gosh, so many things in this season that I had a blast with. And just the weekly we talked about it on my other show with Darth every week, and that was one of the highlights of those several weeks. It's talking about Doctor Who every week. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. Is there a way to zoom in a little bit? There is. I zoomed out just because it's such a big board, but I can 100% zoom in. It's just I won't be able to show the whole board all at once. But yeah, let me know if you want me to zoom in or out more or less, or however that may go. But yeah, no, Doctor Who season 1, and again, this is the 1-season show, so I think that's the fun of doing these yearly, is that like I can play something in one place, and then the next year it has to be, well, does it move or does it stay? And that's why we might be here for a little bit today. First season. I think it's a great first season, man. It has its flaws. It has some flaws. But I think it's a great first season of TV. And I think it has to exist in that first season spot. Or I'm sorry, in that great spot. I am a little tired, guys. I've been up since like 4 a.m. Let me see. Okay, just on my phone, harder to see. All good. Okay, cool. And again, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Monsters at Work. I finished Monsters at Work. We don't have to spend much time on Monsters at Work. I watched it a couple months ago when the new season dropped. I was like, I love Monsters, Inc. I was like, let's check out this new season. Let's check out what they got to offer. This is a fun show. This is a really fun show, man. It's clearly made for Disney Channel. It's clearly made for kids. But, I had a lot of fun getting to step back into the world of Monsters, Inc. again. One of my favorite Pixar movies. I think the biggest plus of the show is just the fact that you have all the cast returning. You have, like John Goodman and like Aubrey Plaza and all the actors who play Randall and Mike and, Ross and all these characters. They're reprising their roles in a show like this. And that's so much fun to see. It's so much fun to just get to play in that world. And honestly, it's a little bit of what I want from Pixar, right? This is not a story about Mike and Sully. It's a story about these new cast of characters. And it's kind of what, as Mike and Sully and stuff are in it, right? It's really about this new cast of characters. And, that's what I said for Toy Story 5. I was like, I would have much preferred if Toy Story 5 was like a new set of toys instead of just bringing back the same ones we've had for 10 years. It's just I'm throwing it in good. It does nothing impressive. Like, it's not breaking any new ground. It's clearly made for that young audience, but I think it's fun enough that any age can watch it, that anyone can jump in and be like, yeah, this is a really fun show. Absolutely. All right, here's the big one. Let's get out of the way pretty early on. Walking Dead. That's why I have so little shows on my list this year, because I spent the forefront of 2024 watching The Walking Dead. I finished it a couple months ago. I think this one, and obviously I've talked about it on the channel a good bit at this point, so I don't have to go on too long. But it's very in line with the Arrowverse stuff, I think, where, it's absolute peak, and then, we go through a area of mid, and then it'll be some bad stuff that I don't like too much. But I'll say it, man. Like, I was expecting a lot worse in terms of one of your favorite shows, I think, right? In terms of like what I heard from people, and I was like, all right, this thing goes on for like 11 seasons. I know there's going to be some dips, and I think like season 7 was probably my least favorite season, or was it season 8? I think season 8 was my least favorite. And then, like, even season 8, though, I was like, all right, this is clearly a dip in quality, right? It's clearly don't love it as much as I would love some of those earlier seasons. But I still think it's better than a lot of the bad TV that, like, I've seen. Like, I'm looking at my and my bad right now, and I probably would put season 8 above most of my bad or shows. Like, I feel like there's still, even when I'm not a huge fan of it, there's still fun to be had. There's still good things happening on screen. It's mainly just kind of dealing with, some criticism and some writing things here and there and some certain decisions through the way. And also, again, like it should be said, I binged this. So, like, the problems many people are going to be having with the show are people who have invested 11, a decade of their life watching it. This is a franchise that's still going on to this day, right? They spent so much time in this universe. Of course, they're going to have more criticism than me that's been watching it for a couple months, right? Where do I put it? I actually have no idea. You know what? I think it has to go. I think Divine, or not Divine. I think the great category is my spot for those mixed bags. Like, I'm looking at Ben 10. I'm looking at the Arrowverse. I'm looking at Game of Thrones and Smallville. That are those huge hills and valleys. That are the, like, absolute peak to the, the absolutely, whatever it may be. Oh wait, 100 is that low? How dare you? I might have to readjust, man. Where is it right now? Because, like, I was looking at my list. I was looking at all of them. I was like, some of these look pretty low, or some of them are too high. I'm trying to see. Is it in good, maybe? Or is it in eh? I don't see the 100, I'm sorry. This is a big list, I'm trying to find it. Oh, yeah, it's in good. Okay, I mean, if it's up with, if I'm have Walking Dead and stuff, maybe I'll move it back up to great. We'll have to see. I'll get there a bit later, though. Absolutely. Yeah, but I think Walking Dead's in great. And again, I think we're going to sort through some of this great. Like, I'm seeing some of these greats. I think some of them might be moving down to good. And again, some of those good might be moving up to great. We'll see. Batwoman. Okay. So this is the other Arrowverse show from last year that I forgot about, or more so, the file didn't save it with the rest. Oh. Batwoman's weird. Batwoman's a weird example. It's kind of in, very similar way to Superman Lois. Kind of the opposite, actually, because I would say Batwoman doesn't have the peaks of Superman Lois and Flash and Arrow and Supergirl, but it also doesn't, in my opinion, have the lows of any of those shows. Like, I think Batwoman consistently kind of lives in that middle tier Arrowverse, even when it's good, right? I love season 3 especially. It never kind of reaches the, like, standard that some of the other shows live in, and it makes it very hard to rank it as a show, because it's like, I think Batwoman is the more consistent show from all 3 seasons. Like, I think it consistently kind of lives in a spot, and that's the spot it lives in. But also, like, it doesn't, like, obviously the most of the season was consistently being better than the back half of Flash, but also those early Flash episodes are, like, undefeated. So I think I'm just gonna throw it in good. I think there's good stuff in here. Nothing too outrageously amazing, but I think it's good. It's a good show. It is a good show sometimes. All right, next up we have Monarch, the MonsterVerse TV show. I won't be spending too long on this one, I don't think. This came out very beginning, or it was the end of last year, beginning of this year. I talked about it a little bit on our other show where we talk about, like, the weekly TV stuff with my friend Darth. He really hated Monarch. He thought it was, like, terrible. And I consistently was like, this show is a lot of fun. The timeline of it all doesn't quite make sense. There's continuity, but man, do these actors have fun. It is really fun to get to, like, explore with the monster, like the MonsterVerse in terms of a TV show and what they do, and cliffhanger kind of leaves you in a very fun spot. Characters are fun. Dynamics are fun. You have the, like, family drama, like element of it, of, like, my father has another family, and these two families kind of joining together to solve this, like, mystery of what happened to their father. Good's getting very packed, and I can tell you, Good is moving. Like, Good is going to be changing, but I do think it is a very middle of the road kind of show. I do really think that. I do. It's fun, though, and I'm very happy. I was worried I was worried it wasn't going to get a second season because of like the Godzilla aspect. Like they can't afford a second season. Have you watched Daryl Dixon yet? I have not. I've watched the original show. I've seen Dead City, and in a couple weeks, or hopefully next week, I want to start World Beyond. So I'm kind of making my way through some of those spinoffs. But my plan is to finish Daryl Dixon season 1 before the new season because I want to watch the new season live, or like week to week, if you will. That's kind of my plan at the moment. So not yet. It won't be on this list, unfortunately, but I'll have just missed the mark of being able to be like qualifying for this list, I guess. Maybe I should have waited a couple weeks to do this, where I could have added all the Walking Dead stuff, but I guess I didn't think about that. All right, next up we have the Acolyte. Boy, I don't know. I feel bad. Because I did not hate the Acolyte. I did not hate the Acolyte at all. I actually I was able to find some enjoyment out of the Acolyte that many people did not. But is it good? It's fine. Listen, the Acolyte is the most fine show I've ever seen. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It's fine. They do fun things. They do fun ideas. And I think because of that, personally, I have to put it in I have to put it in that, like... And again, I'm looking at my list here, and I'm wanting to change some of these, because I feel like I want to put some of these lower. Like, I'm putting it next to Secret Invasion, and that makes me want to puke. Because I think the Acolyte is so much better than Secret Invasion. I'll put it at the very top of A. Because I'm looking at all these shows, and I like the Acolyte more than most of these, I think. But, it's gonna Darth Bunyan will have to kick my butt for putting it that low, unfortunately. But it's fun. It has its pluses. It definitely has its pluses. Alrighty. Reacher. That was the beginning of this year as well. That was January, wasn't it? The new season? Yeah, I watched Reacher for the first time. By the way, I adored season 1 of Reacher. I thought season 1 was really, really good. I loved its dynamics. I loved its characters. I loved its settings. It was such a fun watch. I had a blast. And then I thought season 2 was okay. I thought, listen, it did everything, the same stuff season 1 did. I just thought it was significantly less charming. I get it's an anthology. I get that every episode is going to be its own thing, or each season, I'm sorry, is going to be its own thing. What did I do? Guys, I messed up. Okay, I'm fixing it, I think. Okay, wait. I'm fixing it. I'm sorry. I'm fixing it. There we go. There we go. I scared. I was like, wait, what did I do? What was I saying? Oh yeah, Reacher. Like I know each season is going to end up being its own thing, but I don't know. I thought like the city landscape felt very boring to me. Yeah, they tried to bring in all these new characters from his past, but to me they all just felt like Reacher. Like it kind of felt like there were 7 Reachers just around, and I think that makes Reacher as a character significantly less exciting. Like I don't know. I felt like there was such a lack of stakes. There was such a lack of I guess in it. I never felt danger for any of these characters. You think like, you have these theories early on, like, oh, it's going to do this, but then I'm like, no, they're not going to do that because it's the most predictable route. And like, that's exactly what they do. I don't know. It felt very bland. Again, it's not bad. It was not bad in the least. But, I don't know. I was very disappointed with that second season. I just loved that season 1 cast so much. I guess that's the point of an anthology. I know that's the way it goes, but I don't know. Where did I put it though? Again, that's the Arrowverse problem, where like you have Like, season 1 for me would be, like, divine, I think. I'm gonna put it in great. I will put it in great. Because even season 2, like, it's still solid TV. Like, it's very passable television. It's still very well made. Reacher's still fun. You're still, like, you're never having a bad time when you're watching Reacher. You're just simply not. You're simply not having a bad time. Awaju, as I think how you pronounce it. Barely a TV show. It should have been a movie. They released, like, 8, 15-minute episodes. It felt like a Disney Plus movie. I enjoyed it while I was watching it, but, I have not thought about it for a single second since I stopped. Like, once it was over, I was like, well, that's off my agenda. I watched this Disney Plus thing. And in fairness, I don't even know why I watched it. I think it was just, it's a new Disney Plus thing. It's super short. I can add it to my TV shows of the year. It's going in It's going in I haven't thought about it since. I truly haven't. And that's unfortunate because it's a... And also, I think I remember it having some controversies as well within, what it did. So, yeah, sorry. Percy Jackson. We also reviewed every episode on my other show this year. That was a lot of fun. I don't know. I thought it was okay. No, you know what? Yeah, it's good. Percy Jackson is a good show. Does it have flaws? Yes. Did I completely love it? No. But you know what? I will say this. I think it's almost that Game of Thrones effect. Where I know that's a weird thing to compare to Percy Jackson of all shows. But I think it's the Game of Thrones thing where I think my enjoyment was how much everybody else was enjoying it. All of my friends around me was really, really liking the show. My friend Darth was loving it. My friend Taj was loving it. I had people that were like, I'm finally getting the Percy Jackson content that I want. And I saw a lot of people saying that. And that brought me, that made me very happy to see those fans happy. And it's fun. It's a fun little Disney Plus show. It's what I want to see from Disney Plus. It's what I've been asking for. Honestly, this is a solid list so far. Thank you very much. Let me know where you would be placing the things I'm placing them. I really want to hear your guys' thoughts. Titans would be higher for me because it's one of my favorite Shameless. But Percy Jackson would say better than Gotham Knights. Yeah, a lot of these shows that are on the list already were from last year. So we're also going to be going through and maybe changing some spots. So what it may be right now is maybe not what it will end up being. But no, that's completely fair. I didn't have a great time with Titans. But maybe I might switch it up. Maybe I might move it here or there once we kind of get there. What we're talking about? Oh yeah, Percy Jackson. It's okay. It's good. It's a good show. Next we have Echo, which Echo makes me very, very sad. Echo makes me sad because I really did love Echo. I really enjoyed Echo. I had a great time with that show. It just very much struggles from a production standpoint. Like, it's a show that feels like while you're watching it, and as much as I love the characters, as much as I love the premise, I love the environment of it, it just feels like there's stuff missing. It feels like I didn't watch the whole shows. They introduce questions and they introduce concepts that just frankly don't get resolved. It feels like a very pretty piece of a puzzle. It feels like a really pretty puzzle, but just like 3 pieces are missing from the puzzle, so it's just not quite complete. I kind of want to put it in good though, because I do think it is good. You let me know because I didn't see Echo. You didn't see Echo. Okay. No, I mean, fair enough. Honestly, though, I would recommend, if you're a fan of Daredevil, I would recommend at least the Daredevil scene. Because it's a really, really good scene. For now, I'm putting it at, like, the bottom of good. But I can already tell you, the like category is going to be changing here towards the end of the stream. So I might move it down to once I get a better grasp of what it is. But I'm looking at my I'm losing the grasp of what it even sounds like because I'm saying it too much. But like, I don't know. I like Echo more than most of the shows in that category at the moment. So we'll see. Alrighty. Next up, we have Batman: The Caped Crusader. I won't jump into spoilers because it's still very new. I was supposed to do some kind of review for it a couple weeks ago. I still haven't done that. Maybe I might do it still. Really, really solid show. Obviously, a predecessor to Batman the Animated Series, which is not finished still. You know, it kind of takes the world of Gotham. It takes the like lore of Batman and everything you know about him and puts it in this new show. And it adds its own thing. And I think its strengths are that the different things it does. Like they had said, like, they approached me for doing just a Batman the Animated Series like sequel, and I'm honestly glad they didn't do that. I think it's going in Divine. I think it's going up there for me. It's not one of the greatest shows I've ever seen, and part of me might move it to great. I don't know. I think it's going to be great because I'm looking at my like Divine and like, to me these are near perfect TV shows. These are top of the kernel. They really are for me. And I think Caped Crusader, and I think it could get there, but right now it doesn't have that. It needs a little more of an oomph for me. It needs just something a little bit more flavor, and then it can get up there. But there's some really good stuff in there, like that like Harley Quinn episode, really really fun. The Two-Face stuff at the end of the season, that was really fun. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Geez, I'm trying to finish Caped Crusader right now for a review too. Really taking my time with it too, but it's neat. It is very neat. It's giving a lot more Benson with the. I agree. I agree. I think there's definitely a lot of parallels to like the Batman in just the way it's just like the city of Gotham, and like this version, like it kind of feels like this is what the Batman's Batman, I guess, would turn into eventually. So yeah, I like it a lot. All right, The Walking Dead: Dead City. This is the second only 2 I've seen so far. Again, I'm looking to finish some of these spin-offs in the next couple of weeks, months, whatever it is at this point. Dead City, man. I thought it was okay. I thought it, there's things that were really cool. I love the sets. I loved Negan, what Negan had to, what Negan got to do. I wasn't a huge fan of Maggie in this. It did feel like we were kind of treading water with a lot of these storylines this season. Felt like we were kind of doing a repeat of the like Negan and Maggie stuff from like the final season. I wasn't a huge fan of the time jump, but the fights were cool, and it is fun just getting to spend more time with Negan. Where do I want to put it, though? It's good. It is good. It's a good show. Not great. but I will say I'm excited for season 2, because I do think season 2 can kind of like, I don't know, build on what we've already established, especially with how season 1 ended. It feels like we're creating an entire world in this little dead city, if you will. So that's exciting. That is very exciting. Fallout. Fallout. A new show also came out this year. Some people would say it's a perfect first season. Some people would say it's a top tier season of television. I think it's very good. I think if it proceeds in coming seasons, it would be that for me. I feel like I don't quite have the attachment to the show that many have. I think that's exactly it, is really like what it is. I think because it was a binge, because I ended up watching all within a week, I feel like I don't have the attachment to a show the show as I should. But like, his great writing, his great characters, his great setting. It is a really, really good show. And I can't quite find myself putting it in perfect just yet. Just, I don't know. I feel like perfect just holds a special place. And I don't like giving it away too easily. But I'm putting it in divine. I think that first season was quite divine. Follow, I would give it great. Still hadn't finished it, but honestly, on my review list, pretty sure it's an award-winning now. Is it award-winning already? I know if it isn't, it will be. I think it'll be... So I'm really tired. Not the Grammys. I don't know, I'm blanking right now. Not the Grammys, not the Oscars, the... Fill in the blank. Whatever their award TV show is, I think will definitely be on that list. Like, performances-wise, editing, like, oh, special effects. Oh my gosh, it looks great. Knuckles! My poor baby Knuckles. I feel so bad. I did not like Knuckles, guys. Academy, yeah. Emmys, the Emmys. Thank you. That's exactly what I was thinking of. A little full candid here. I'm so envious of you and your age because I had so much time to watch all these shows like you. Yeah, no, that's fair. I'm very grateful that I get to kind of have a little bit of that free time to kind of put aside to watch and stuff. But also, there's so many shows that I want to be watching, so many movies I want to be watching that I also just don't have the time for, unfortunately. But Knuckles, listen, I didn't love it, if I'm going to be honest. I feel like, I have friends who thought it was a really charming show, but I did kind of think having your Knuckles show be a show about bowling was a choice. I thought it was a choice. Knuckles as a character and his, friendship with Wade is really charming. It's very fun. But I also think it can only go so far. I think, that dynamic can only take it so far when the plot itself feels very standard. It feels very 2D. It's kind of what I didn't love about that first Sonic movie that I thought the second movie improved upon. I don't know. It's fine. It's clearly, and I said this in my main thing about it, it's clearly a show meant for kids, and that's okay. Totally okay. Also didn't give me much to grasp onto though. So I'm throwing it in the category for me. Not bad. But, yeah, not great either. I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious. I think I don't know. I feel like the, dynamic they grew in Sonic 2 was so great. So going down to just him by himself, and I guess Wade's there too, but, it's whatever. He's fine. The 7. I mean, Knuckles has a big fan base, man. I love the fans who liked it. Alright, House of the Dragon. I won't spend too much time on this. I have not seen the second season yet. And I'm not sure if I will at the moment. Just because I'm not sure if it's a me show. House of the Dragon Season 1 is great. I think it's a great season of TV. I didn't watch it all when it was airing. I recently, in prep for the second season, I finished Season 1. I was like, this is great. And didn't watch Season 2. And honestly, I kind of lost a bit of my interest to watch it. Especially just with what everyone's been saying. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe by the time Season 3 comes around, I'll have motivation to watch Season 2. And I'll just do the same thing over again. I'm just going to throw it in good. It's a good show. I will say, before, I was really loving the show before the time jump in Season 1. And I don't know why. This is very childish of me. There was nothing bad with the time jump. But as just personally, I lost some of my interest when they did the time jump. When we switched out actors. I know that's something a 7-year-old would say. But, I don't know, man. It somehow lost me. I don't know. And I really hate to say that. That's true. And that goes across the board for all the Game of Thrones stuff. They get attractive people. Gen V, the Boys spin-off series. This came out last fall. We're going on a year for Gen V. Since then, we have a season of The Boys. I'm trying to think. I loved Gen V. I personally think Gen V is my favorite. It's a toss-up between, The Boys Season 3, but it's one of my favorite things within the Boys universe. I think this is exactly how you do a spin-off show, right? It takes what you love about the Boys, it's within that world, but it introduces so many of these new dynamic characters and explores a different part of the universe that we wouldn't be able to explore otherwise. It's, it's like surprises are great. Its cast is great. The writing is great. And like going into The Boys Season 4, I was like, I'm excited for this. But I kind of wish it was Gen V. Like, I think it made me like Gen V more than The Boys in some ways, shape, or forms. And I think, that might also just be because I love, like, the whole point of The Boys is their characters suck. Like, that's the entire dynamic. Like, you're supposed to hate these characters. So they made a world, I don't know, like, they gave me a set of characters that I actually love. And I think I really love that. Where do I want to put it? I could be tempted to put it in Divine. I could do that. But I'm thinking great for now, until season 2 comes out. Until we get that second season, I want to put it in great. And I want to be able to move it up to Divine. Because I think it has everything in its corner to do that. If they keep doing on the path that they are in season 1, then I think it could get there. But we'll have to wait and see. Gen V is the best X-Men show ever. Well, we have an X-Men show on this ranking, so we're gonna have to. Maybe it is, maybe it's not. Fringe. Fringe is up next. I finished Fringe this year. I think I would have started it last year when I did this last year. We did 2 episodes a week of Fringe since last January. Not this past January, but the one previously. We were doing 2 episodes a week until we were done with it. Genuinely, I think it's a phenomenal show. I think, it's a show that it took me a little bit to get into it, right? And I think it has that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. effect to it, where it's like, on first kind of watch, you don't really, it takes you a little bit to get into the dynamics, into the character. Some of it's slow. That first season is entirely getting you to love these characters. And once you do, it's an uphill climb. It's just like, it's all downhill from there because it's so unbelievably good. I think starting season 3 and 4, genuinely just like 3, 4, there's 5 seasons. I think there's 5 seasons. Like 3, 4, 5 are genuinely some just peak television. Walter's one of my favorite, characters in TV. I think these like dynamics and these characters are so much fun to watch while also having a through line. Some of the best filler I've seen, some of the best mysteries I've seen, so many these full circle moments where you go, oh, that's what that was leading to. That thing that we set up in like season 1, episode 2, or like whatever it was, paid off here. And that's brilliant. I'm so proud of you for Friends. Also the best X-Files show ever. I'm going to keep this running joke. I have not seen X-Files. I wonder, because I love S.H.I.E.L.D. I love Fringe. I would like to watch X-Files someday. I would like to be able to put it on this list. Where do I put it? When I finished the show, I had it in perfect. I said, I do think this is a perfect show. And honestly, I think I'm going to give it to it. Because I don't think there's a bad episode of Fringe. I don't think there's a single bad episode of it. I think it's a show that gets consistently better. Like, I think it starts off at like a B. It's like a B-level show, and I think it consistently gets better as you watch through it. I think I'm going to give it the perfect. And then next year, I could look at it and readjust and be like, do I still think it's a perfect show, or can it can it keep that? So I will say this: X-Files gets dark, so creepy, so spooky, but yeah, I mean, it's a show that I just feel like it's one of those, from what I've heard at least, just like one of those big TV experiences that a lot of people should have experienced at least once, kind of thing. You know, it's the start of so many people's careers and stuff like that. So, absolutely. Ted. The Ted series came out this year. That was also the very beginning of 2024. Was not planning on watching Ted, but for some reason when it came out, I felt like a pull on my heartstrings to check it out. So I watched those movies for the first time. I thought they were okay. I thought they were whatever. They're fun. They're pretty fun time. You know, I'm not a huge like Seth MacFarlane fan. I don't really like Family Guy that much. Haven't seen Orville. But I was like, you know what? This seems like it could be a fun show. And I was so pleasantly surprised with Ted. Because I don't know, like it has, again, I don't love the Family Guy humor. I don't love, you know, a lot of that very harsh humor, but I feel like Ted has a lot of heart. It has a lot of weird heart to it with its characters and how they're treated, and like the different dynamics of these characters feel very genuine that I haven't, you know, to be fair, I haven't seen a lot of Family Guy, but just from what I've seen of the clips and stuff like that I often don't see from, you know, that show. And I didn't feel from the movies. I feel like the show has a lot more heart, and I think the like episodic 80s formula for it, like the sitcom formula, does Ted a huge service. I think the episodic formula does him a huge service, because I think the Ted movies kind of feel like they're bit after bit after bit, where an episode can just be the bit. Like that's the whole episode, and you let these bits like flesh themselves out a little bit. Which, yeah, I don't know. I think it's great. I thought the first season of Ted was great. Oh God, Ted should be going on still. The idea of the animated. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because they just announced an animated show, which I'm like, that just sounds like Family Guy. That just sounds like maybe another Family Guy show. And also just like, isn't the whole point of Ted that like there's a teddy bear in the real world? Like I feel like it kind of works better in live action. So I don't know, but I'm glad we're getting that season 2. I'm glad season 2 is coming. Apparently it almost didn't because of the budget, but it seems like they convinced them to give them another shot. Has Been Hotel. One of my biggest surprises of 2024. Never heard of this before this year. And, you know, the official Amazon thing came out. You know, they were working on getting a pilot done for a while. And it came out. And I had the blast. I had a blast week to week watching the show. I had such a good time. Mainly for the songs. I'm still, on the weekly, listening to those Has Been Hotel songs. They're so much fun. The plot's a little thin sometimes, but I think its main stories and its themes about, like, what does it mean to be a sinner, and, you know, the, like, unjust system on which who deserves to be in heaven and who goes in hell is something that I just found myself thinking about so much. Like, its themes I thought were so unbelievably strong. You know, I had there were some issues. I think it could have been paced better. But, you know, they had, 8 episodes, all 20 minutes each. Like, they were really struggling. Like, I hope what they announced it for seasons 2, 3, and 4, I'm pretty sure, just 2 and 3 or something. Like, yeah, I think it's up to season 4. So that means they obviously have faith in it. It's obviously doing well. I hope they're allowed to do more episodes next season. Maybe a bit longer episodes to kind of flesh out these ideas and things a bit better within this formula. We are throwing it in great. It's a great show. It's not divine or perfect yet. I don't know if it could ever get in perfect, because I do have some, you know, some things wavering on it, but divine could definitely get in divine if it continues to go the way it is. One Piece. To be more specific, the live action version of One Piece. came out last year. Yeah, it was last summer. A show that I thought was so good, it made me want to watch an 1,000-episode anime. I had such a good time with One Piece. They made me fall in love with these characters and this world and these concepts. And obviously, like, I'm not a big anime guy. I haven't watched much of them. But again, it did its job in the terms of, like, making people want to go watch an anime. Making people want to be like, oh, this is cool. Now I want to go back and rewatch the original. I think that's what it does. It's a really fun time. I love what they do with these characters and the world it builds upon, and a couple of nitpicks here and there, but great show nonetheless. I think it's getting the Gen V effect, though. It could 100% go higher as we go through this list. But right now, I need more from it for it to go any higher, but it's absolutely great. A great show. Moving along, because, man, I have a feeling we'll be here for a minute, y'all. I thought this may be a shorter stream. We're already an hour and a half in, and I still want to go through and re-rank some of these guys that we did last time. But we're heading towards the end of our actual new shows. So, oh boy. Ted Lasso. I'm trying to think, did I not watch Ted Lasso last time? I guess I had to have, right? I thought I watched it last summer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. I'm pretty sure I watched Ted Lasso last summer, but maybe I just didn't add it to the list. I love Ted Lasso. One of my favorite TV shows of all time, I think. I really didn't get that until, like, the second time. I watched it through last year. I think I watched it last year. I don't even know anymore. I've lost track at this point. I have lost track. Yeah, I think it was like a year and a half ago I watched through it. I watched through it, and then and I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And then I watched Blind Wave watch through it, like, right after I got done with it. And I think it made it just one of my favorite shows. I think it's just the show that people need right now. It's just that boost of positivity that everybody needs. And, like, I think the lessons you take from that show is so great. Characters are amazing. Its setting's amazing. Made me like a show about sports, which I did not think was possible. I did not think it was possible. It's not S tier. It's close. If it wasn't for the third season, which I still think is a good season. I think season 2 or 3 is good, but I do think it drops the ball on a couple of small little things. Like, it's nitpicks. They are very nitpicky, but I do have a couple of things. For me, it's divine. It's a divine TV show. It's nearly perfect. It's right there on the cusp, but not quite. It doesn't quite pass the finish line, unfortunately. Santa Claus, bad. I thought that show was terrible. I thought that show was really, really bad. I watched it last Christmas. Season 1, bad. Season 2, even worse. I'm sorry, it was not good. And maybe it's just, and listen, maybe it's just this thing now of me watching, I love those Tim Allen Santa Claus movies. Maybe I need to rewatch them now with the adult brain. But I didn't like Santa Claus one bit. High School Musical, the series. I was shocked this one wasn't on there last year. The final season aired last summer. Came out last summer. I don't remember if it came out before or after we did this ranking. I think it was... Didn't it air in August? Let me look it up. When did High School Musical, the series, season 4, come out? August 9th. So, yeah, it had just came out. It was very fresh. And somehow I did not put it on the list. I love High School Musical and the series. where do you put it, though? It's a show that actually, I feel like I've been on a renaissance of it because I've been watching through the Real Rejects reactions of it. It's a show I think just grows on you with time. That first watch through of some of it, you know, it's a very mixed bag, right? There's nothing... Listen, High School Musical is a show that knows exactly what it did. It knows exactly what it is. It knows it's the silly little musical. You know, it knows it has its niche audience. But gosh dang it, it loves what it's doing. It is having a blast. It knows exactly what it is, and it's doing it every step of the way. And they're having a blast. I think it's a show that just consistently finds itself. Like, season 1 is like the Olivia Rodrigo show. Clearly is. Season 2, they're like, this girl's not sticking around. Clearly she's not making it to the end of the run. I think season 2 is them kind of phasing some of it out, bringing new people up to the front. And I think season 3 and 4 finds what it is. It's like, oh, this is the kind of show we are now. This is who we're meant to be. And I think it's a damn shame they don't get to tell more of that story that they set out to tell. Because it's very clear season 4 was not meant to be the final season. I felt like they had at least one more in their system that they wanted to tell and be, or whatever it may be. I feel like I haven't been putting too many things in good. I'm putting it in great. I think they've been consistent. I think they can, because none of it's bad. Like, even season 2, I think is the weakest season. It's still good. It's still solid. X-Men 97. Guys, honestly, I'm looking at our bottom list here. We got a lot of things that are ranking pretty high. Maybe I should have mixed them around a little high, or like a little better, but we got some pretty good stuff coming. X-Men 97. I do think X-Men 97 is one of my favorite shows of all time. And I'm afraid to say that yet, because we got another season coming. We got more coming. There's drama right now. But I think the fun of this list can and should be... I'm looking right now, actually, at a list. I think we once again forgot The Last of Us. I don't see The Last of Us on this list. I think I forgot it again. Oh, boy. That's sad for them. Actually, maybe I'll do that before we're done here. Maybe I'll find a photo and just add it in. We might do that. Screw it. We're just chilling. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen, though. I don't know. Like, after finishing it, I think this is an S tier show for me. I think it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. I think it's perfect, basically, from start to finish. And until something else happens, I think I'm putting it in there. It's what I'm feeling. I don't know. I don't remember the last time that I felt so much joy watching a TV show. Like, I think it might be early Arrowverse that I had that much fun watching a TV show. Like, I'm thinking like seasons, like, I don't know, probably like season 3 of The Flash might be the last time. Or like season 3 of Flash, season 5 of Arrow, that kind of vibe. Probably super in low season 1 as well, I guess. I won't talk too much about it because I've talked about it enough. I've talked about X-Men 97 too much. I've talked about it way too much. Lost. One of them that I was devastated I didn't talk about last time. Because I had talked about it in great detail, and that was one of the ones I was very excited to see where it fit in. For someone that was not chronically online while that was kind of coming out, like, I just watched it. We watched one episode a week until I was done with it. And I do think it's one of my all-time favorite shows. I honestly don't get a lot of the criticisms that a lot of people have. Is it perfect? No. It's divine for me, though. I don't know. I think for me, it's a really close to perfect TV show. There's not, like, even, I think like a lot of people, it had a bit of like a renaissance here recently. It had a couple, like when it got added to Netflix, a lot of people were watching it, and people were like, "These are the worst episodes," and I was like, "Those are still fun episodes, though. Those episodes you're naming are what makes the show the show. It makes it what it is. It's part of its DNA." So yeah, man. I think it's a divine TV show. I love Lost. I love me some Lost. I want to rewatch it so bad. I just bought. Do I have it over here? I think I do. I saw it at like an assignment store for like $6, and I think I regret it because I just want to buy the whole set. But I just found like Lost season 2 on DVD for like $5 or $7 or something. I was like, screw it, I'm buying it. I don't care. It's fun. Okay, we are heading into the final 2, 4, 6. These over here we're not going to talk about because I haven't finished these. Or some of these are repeats. Some of these I haven't watched the Ninja Turtles yet. Final 6 here, and then we're going to go through. How far into the stream? We're almost 2 hours in. Oh my gosh. This might be a 3-hour stream, folks. And that's why I'm by myself. New Girl, my latest TV show I finished. I should have a video on it coming out on Saturday. I love New Girl. This is the show that I loved so unbelievably much that I couldn't finish it. I found myself on the 5th season. And obviously I was having other things that I kind of needed to make room for on my watch schedule. But I said, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop watching you because I don't want to end the show. I don't think there's a bad episode of New Girl. Well, there's not many. I think there's a couple sprinkled here and there. But it's a show I don't think has a bad season. I think every season is great in its own way. I think it starts strong. I think it ends strong. There's a couple stuff sprinkled here and there that probably could be better, right? There's some things. Sometimes not every single joke lands. But 9 times out of 10 for me, it does. And again, I watched this on a binge. There are going to be some that don't quite hit as much as they probably could. But I love it. I love these characters. It's my sense of humor, I think. I think it's just my kind of vibe. It hits my vibe exactly, I think. It really does. Over the Garden Wall. I watched this last October. Let's throw you up at the very top as we're filling out our perfect. We now have 1 full row of perfect shows. These are the shows that are going to be at the height of my recommending page. Like, hey, what are the shows you recommend? I think these are going to be the ones I recommend. No, I mean, Over the Garden Wall is this little, tiny, perfect little masterpiece. It has like 10 episodes. It's 1 limited series. It's like what I loved about Infinity Train, but there's nothing there. Like there's not that 4th season to kind of slow it down at all. It's so inventive. It's so creative. Its characters are so expressive and fun and entertaining. Every character has an arc, and the animation is so unbelievably good looking, and the villain of the season is so unbelievably scary, and its environment is so good. It's so good. It's something that I think I'm going to have to rewatch this show every October. I really do think. I think it's going to be a show that I'm going to have to watch year in and year out. I think it's going to be a part of my new tradition is to watch Over the Garden Wall. Like, it came out back in what was it, like 2014 or something? I was like, everyone's talking about it. I was like, it can't be that good. I don't, like, what are you talking about? Get out of here. But, yeah, it's great. Absolutely amazing. You can tell my throat's getting a little tired, so I'm speeding through some of these. Schitt's Creek. Couldn't believe I didn't add it before. I could not believe it. It's been a couple years out since I finished it. I was kind of the start of my like sitcom phase that I started to go through. It was that before like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Community. What a fun little show that was. I love the city. I love their town. I love these characters. It's so frank. How they write these characters are so entertaining to watch. And yeah, it's been a bit for me. I don't have much to say about Schitt's Creek, but I love it. I had a friend of mine convince me to watch it, and I'm glad he did. Shout out to my friend Everest. He's great. It's one of his all-time favorite shows. Does it go in Divine? I see no reason why not. I honestly see no reason why not. Yeah, we're filling out that Divine category a bit more here, I guess. Okay. Community. Another one I couldn't believe wasn't on the list last time. I couldn't believe it. I love Community when it's great. Honestly, there's not that much bad with Community either, though. Like, yeah, we throw on season 4 and some of season 6 and stuff like that, but like, I love easily one of the funniest sitcoms I've ever seen. I don't know. The show has such a charm. It has such a funness to it. It is so engaging just to watch these characters have fun and this cast explore each other. That sounded weird. That's not what I meant. Where on the ranking though? It's great. It's great. It has the hills and valleys thing that we talked about. Hills and valley. It's great, but it has its hills, it has its valleys. Hills and valleys. Hills and valleys. It's just how it works. Ahsoka. Good. Throw it in good. Really fun stuff. Didn't stick out for me once I was done with it though. Nothing was like, yes, this is why. Like, there's that really good couple of episodes with Anakin, and the Anakin episode was incredible. The shot where like Darth Vader comes out of his shadow. I'm not even the biggest Star Wars fan, and that got me hyped. That was so unbelievably good. So unbelievably good. I have tea here, but I probably should have also got water. Spectacular Spider-Man. Our last one out of the new stuff that we're adding here. Do you want to do you? I wonder if I want to put it in Divine or put it in Perfect. I don't like Spectacular Spider-Man nearly as much as I love everything else in Perfect. But I think it goes in Perfect, man. Like, I don't think there's a single bad episode of the show. I think it's a consistently great show from the beginning to the end. How it treats its characters, how it writes them, how it like swings through, pun 100% intended, like swings through the different like dynamics and stuff like that is so good. It never has a slow point. It just goes up and up and up, and it's a crime it was canceled. Obviously watching it for the first time this last year or so, it was a lot of fun. And I do think, again, I don't like it as much as everything else in Perfect, but it's very high up there for me. So now what we are going to do is we're going to go through each category. How are we on time? We're at 1 hour and 40 some minutes. So this part probably won't take as long, but there's a lot of shows here, guys. We might be here for I'm so sorry. We're going to go through each category and re-rank the ones from last year. See if there's anything that we want to move. In Perfect already, I will say, last year I was living on the high of Heartstopper Season 2. I'm putting it in Divine. I love Heartstopper. It's one of my favorite shows. I love those first 2 seasons. But I don't know if I necessarily need it in Perfect. I think it's really, 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 really good. And then, yeah, I think everything else, I think it's perfect in S tier. But but again, season 3 is coming. Honestly, though, if season 3 comes out and it's just as good, honestly, I think I might just throw it up in Perfect. I think I might just throw it up there. Give it a bone. I'm looking at my list. I'm looking at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Divine, Infinity Train, Divine. Is everything going to be okay? I haven't really watched it at all, and I don't feel like I need to change it at all. The Boys is really sticking out to me in Divine, though, I will say. I don't know if I want to keep it in Divine right now. I think I'm going to put it at the top of great, unfortunately, after that 4th season. 4th season, by the way, a great 4th season. It's still good. I have some flaws in some things they did, though. I do have some flaws. I think it's easily the worst season. I think it's easily the weakest, unfortunately. It's kind of where we're at with that, though. I'm looking at Amphibia. I'm gonna have to rewatch it. I could see a world where Amphibia is perfect. I love Amphibia. Man, that vibe. Oh my gosh, the vibe of Amphibia, man. I could see Amphibia being on my favorite TV shows list if I gave it a rewatch. Peacemaker. I think I'm moving Peacemaker down to great. I think Peacemaker is a great show, but I don't know if I love it on the level as like some of these other TV shows I have in Divine at the moment. I don't know if I'm quite vibing with it, especially with a lot of these new shows in Divine. As much as I love it, and again, maybe season 2 comes out and it's just as good. Like again, it's that one season thing where it's like, does it deserve to be here? I don't know. Wolverine and the X-Men. I haven't rewatched it since. I'm gonna keep it there. Looney Tunes can stay. I think that show's great. Sex Ed. It's moving down to great. I almost moved it down to good. That first season was very frustrating to me, folks. I was very frustrated with season 3, 4. Man, but I can't do that. Like, logically, like, same with, like, The Flash. Wait, is Flash... Oh, no, Flash isn't good. Ooh. Ooh. I'm gonna put it in great. And then when we get back to kind of great and good, maybe we move it again. We'll see. It might... But I love those first 3 seasons so much. I think it's gonna stay in great. I honestly do think it's gonna stay in great. I think it will. I do think it will. Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I haven't rewatched it. It's still there for me for now. I gotta rewatch them though, because my memory is very shaky. I don't know. Should we move? No, I don't think. I think it deserves to be in Divine. I really wish I didn't rate Loki so high last time for season 1, because we have got a new season of Loki. Like I think I would rate season 1 great now. If I was rating it now, I'd probably put season 1 great, and I think season 2 is Divine, if not perfect. I wouldn't put Loki season 2 in perfect. I don't think I'd do that, but it's great. It's so good. So yeah, it stays. I think it's even more warranted now than it was last time. Gifted. I love Gifted. I don't love season 2. I don't think it deserves that Divine because it's season 2. I'll be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I think I'm gonna be a little honest. If I'm gonna be honest. Where are we at? I lost track. Invincible. What do I not like about Invincible? What don't I like? Is the question. It's weird, because I don't think there's anything I dislike about it. I do think so far it's been almost a perfect show, outside of that weird hiatus break. But I don't know if it can live in the same space as these S-tier shows. Like, I don't know if I feel it to that level. I think I just want to stay in Divine. But maybe as we go, maybe if we can continue to have that hot streak. Phineas and Ferb, I agree still. Daredevil, I agree still. Time Traveler's Life, I agree still. White Lotus, we're moving on to great. It's a great show. I don't know. It's just not given the same oomph, I guess. I'm looking at the rest of these shows up here, though. Superman Lois, The Bear, Fallout, Ted Lasso, Lost, New Girl, She's Great. All new additions. All deserved. All very much deserved. I'd say Perfect and Divine are just some of my all-time favorite TV shows. These are the shows I'm probably most likely to be rewatching the most. Call my favorites. Okay, moving down to great. The Boys. Just moved up there. I think it's a good spot. Batman Cape Crusader. Moved up there. Yes. Peacemaker. Yes. White Lotus. Yes. Euphoria. Yeah, it's staying there. We've still not got that new season of Euphoria. Freaking ridiculous. I don't think they even started filming it. Crazy. Cobra Kai. Oh my gosh. What was I? I'm sorry. I got distracted with chat. I'm sorry. Cobra Kai. I'm keeping it in great. Honestly, I would have been very willing. If it ended with season 5, I would have moved it up. I would have. I think I love it that much. But this last season has kind of annoyed me a little bit. And I think I think the season has cemented its spot in the great. It is a great show. I think Cobra Kai is such a great show, but this season's making decisions that's making me a little frustrated, unfortunately. Alien Force is staying. Black Lightning is staying. Good Luck Charlie is staying. Yeah, I think most of this list is just going to be as good as bad. I don't know though. Maybe we want to change what the category of great is. Because I think good should be that middle of the road stuff. Do we want to go back? Do we want to change any of this? Yeah. I'm keeping Alien Force because I do think it's great. I think it's good that weighs that season 3. We can talk about that later. I'm moving Black Lightning to good. I think. Korra is still, honestly, moving Korra to good. It is a good show. It's not. No, Korra's staying in great. This is tough. This is tough. Sweet Life on Deck. Good. Agent Carter. I do think Agent Carter is great. Game of Thrones is moving down to good. Just not vibing it there as much as I want. Young Justice. Man, I wish I could. Sorry, Only Murders. This isn't great. It doesn't do anything insane to like define like a divine, but it's a really fun show. Young Justice, I think it stays in great. Smallville, Wednesday, Mandalorian. I haven't finished the latest season. Should Mando go down to good, guys? Mando's going down to good. I don't know. I still haven't rewatched the newest season. The approach hasn't got me so much since the last one. Sweet Tooth. Sweet Tooth doesn't have a bad episode, guys. Sweet Tooth doesn't have a bad episode. I'm keeping it great, though. Ben 10, Alien Force, Harley... Honestly, Harley Quinn's going down to good. I didn't really like that. I never finished season 4. I haven't watched Kite Man yet. Hawkeye. It's going down to good. Unfortunately. Sorry, I'm really tired. Arrow. Moving it down to... No. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna... Season 4, though. Season 4. I'm keeping good. I'm keeping great. My Adventure Superman. I'm moving it to Divine. I think it's a great TV show, guys. I think season 2, it really proved itself in that category, I think. Brooklyn Nine-Nine stays great. WandaVision, move it to good. I'm kind of putting a lot of these like middle tier stuff in good. But I don't wonder if we're going to change this category at all. Yeah, that's going to be the interesting one. Total drama. Move it down to good. It's just good. I'm kind of looking at this. Some of the stuff we just put in great. I think Doctor Who also so far has to go in good. No, I don't. Oh, this is tough, guys. It's great. I think it's great so far. Reacher can stay in great. Walking Dead can stay in great. Gen V, One Piece. I like all those so far, I think. Okay. Look at this giant board here. Some people are moving. I think some people are moving. Black Lightning is staying good. Sweet Life on Deck, good. Game of Thrones, good. WandaVision, good. She-Hulk, good. Mando, good. Para Kings, they're fine. Manifest, good. Wizards, good. Hawkeye, good. Harley Quinn, good. Lucifer, good. Like, these are good shows. They're not great, they're good. Diabolical, yeah. Diabolical's Once Upon a Time, I'm not going to comment on once, because I'm still in the middle of my rewatch, I think. I'm still in the middle of my rewatch, but it probably should go down to but I'm not going to do that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, honestly, I'm moving that up. I think I like that show more now than I did before. I really do. I like that stuff a lot. Okay, we're back. No one's here anyway. It's not that big of a deal. We're just having fun. Umbrella Academy. I have not watched the latest season, so it might go down. Next year might go down. It might go down to unfortunately. That sucks. 911, it can stay good. I haven't watched it since. I'm a couple seasons behind, but it can stay there. I'm not okay with this. It's fine staying good. Ultimate Spider-Man. That's fine. It's fine. Legends, Lab Rats, Supergirl, all fine. We're good. Obi-Wan, I'm leaving it in good, man. I liked Obi-Wan a lot. 13 Reasons Why. Screw it. I think it's going down to I think it's going down to I have not thought about that show in a long, long time. Fosters. I like Fosters more than everything in good at the moment, guys. Gotham, it's good. Defenders. Put it in It's an ass show. It's whatever. Riverdale. It's an ass show. Gotham Knights. It's an ass show, I think. It's not bad. It's not good. Queen Charlotte. I think it's going great. I think Queen Charlotte's great, man. I really did like Queen Charlotte, I'll be honest. Miss Marvel, it's good. It's not great. The 100. It's one of the better CW shows. Like, it kind of falls off. I think it still think it's one of the more consistent of those CW shows, if I'm gonna be honest. What If? It's good. Bridgerton. I'm also moving Bridgerton up, man. I honestly, I think it's just a good show. I don't really care what people think. I think it's a good show. And then all these stuff are new. So, like, Monsters at Work, Batwoman, Monarch, Percy Jackson, Echo, Dead City, House of the Dragon, Ahsoka. House of the Dragon probably should move up to great, but we're fine. Okay, and then we're moving down to last kind of category, I suppose. The Acolyte, I do agree. Titans, I agree. Naomi's moving down to bad. No show gets me more heated than Naomi. I really hate what they did with Naomi. I really disliked what ended up happening with Naomi. Secret Invasion, also bad. I think it's just a bad show. I'm glad we're filling out that bad category a little bit. Sabrina. I think Sabrina deserves a good. I still haven't finished it. I'll be honest, but I like it more than most things in at the moment. Love Victor does not deserve an Like, I know that final season kind of like shit the bed a little bit, but like, yeah. Government's where I'm putting in good. It's good. It's whatever. Exo Kitty, I also think goes in good. It's not great, but it's good. Vox Machina. I don't know why. I saw this when I was doing it. I was like, why in the world did I put it in Like, I have not seen the new season yet. So that maybe plays a part. But, like, I know that probably isn't the best in its favor or whatever. But Vox is a good show. That first season was good. And then, Jesse, I don't know. It can go in good. That's fine. That's fine. Good Doctor, Book of Boba Fett stays an Moon Knight. I don't like Moon Knight, but it's not like in my bad category. I think that's anything in bad we want to move up? No, because we only had 2 last time. Oh my goodness, we've been doing this for so long, and we're gonna be looking through these a little bit more. Anything else that just kind of doesn't really stick out? Weren't there a couple that I thought I wanted to move potentially? What was that I said I might want to move? Oh, let me add. Hold on, guys. Let me just add 2 more shows just really quickly. I don't think anyone's watching anyway. 2 that I did forget to add to the overall tier list. Just really, really, really quickly, guys. Really quickly. There are 2 that didn't get on here from recent that I want to add on here before it's too late. Pretty big ones, actually. So what's everyone up to today, guys? How is everybody? How's everybody in the neck of the woods? I know no one's watching now, so it probably doesn't matter if I keep you guys entertained. But on playback, people might be watching or want to clip this out or whatever. All right, last 2, and then we are done. We have Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live action show. The live action show. That has got to go in the category. I like things about it, but there's some really, really good stuff within it. But it's definitely not bad. But I want more from it. I want them to expand on what was already here, I think. And then The Last of Us. The Last of Us, for me, I think could be in a perfect TV show. It's on the precipice of such. but we are going to throw it in Divine. And I cannot believe I didn't have it on the last episode of this. And yeah, I'm looking at this list, and I'm thinking it's pretty good. I feel like let's move Game of Thrones up to great. It is a great show. I kind of want to. Is there these good? The good category is pretty huge. We're gonna keep this how it is for now. I think. I like how this looks. I think it's a good variety. I think it defines myself pretty well. I think House of the Dragon probably deserves a great. Screw it. Throw it in great with Game of Thrones. It is a great show, and that evens out the good category, I think. Yeah, good show. Good amount of shows. Next year, though, my goal, I want to get through so many TV shows within this next year. I want to score out my lists. There's so many TV shows I've been watching for a while. I just want to do them. I want to get through them. I want to say, hey, I've watched the show. I've finished the show. I will be keeping my official list. Every time I finish the show, I'm going to put it in like a serialized list, and I'm going to go through it, and they'll be added for next year's ranking, and that should be very exciting. Guys, what did you think about this? Obviously this was a lot. I was going solo. I understand why there weren't that many people for this stream, but hopefully you guys let me know your thoughts on the playback of it. I'll probably clip out some of the stuff for shorts and stuff like that. And again, thank you guys for 100 episodes. I'm losing my voice here. I'm going off here. But thank you for the 100. We got a lot of fun stuff coming up in going into these next couple of months going on here. And yeah, I'm just gonna get out of here at this point. I think I'm gonna skedaddle. I'm gonna let you guys watch this on playback. Again, thank you guys for watching. Check out all my videos. I got some fun stuff coming out soon. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye bye.